let's get into it, Terrence.
That's right. Let's get into it. What is it, Marquis? It is the playoffs. We are here. We just wrapped up round one of the playoffs.
Wow.
And what great matchups it was. We are in it. And when I say we, I mean my Bang Bang Niner game survived against the last year's champs, put them birds to rest, threw them back in the cage, and had her set aside to next year, big dog. So, hey, man, we live to fight another day. So I'm excited.
One of our producers was watching the game, and as she was watching the game, she was giving me updates on it. And I felt a little bit scared for my boy because I was saying to myself, man, are they going to pull it out?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because obviously you're at the champs' home. You're at a very dangerous place. I mean, people forget that Philly has a jail cell in their stadium. That's how bad they fans are. They actually have a jail cell in their stadium. But anyway, you guys were getting pushed to the wire. I was like, man, is Brock Purdy going to come through with this? I mean, all that money they spend.
Man, we've been riddled with injuries, some big-time injuries. On the game Sunday night, George Kittle is done for the year, literally the year. So it may not be this time next year before he comes back.
So, I mean, what are going to even do with him? I mean, because here's what I say about that. I mean, Kittle, how old is George?
32. So
he's getting up
right
there.
Right.
You see these tight ends, they getting up there. I mean, are y'all going to be looking for another tight end in draft?
Hey, man, that's a question to be had.
Well, let me also then talk about something else then, too, because, of course, Philly and San Francisco wasn't the only two teams that played. Buffalo, y'all need to put a cape on Josh Allen because that man is any and everything to y'all.
Everything.
And if y'all don't get him help soon,
yeah,
I do not know how long he can sustain what he's going through.
Right.
Let me say this again. If y'all don't give him help soon, I do not know how long he can sustain this beating that he keeps getting every single week. And, you know, to be real with you, I honestly believe that Josh Allen saves Sean McDermott's job every single year.
Every year.
Every single year. And with that being said, he basically put on a cape, drug the dang on Buffalo Bills across the finish line to win that game because Jacksonville, don't get me wrong, look, Jacksonville is one of our rivals because I'm a Colts fan, but at the same time, looking at them, they actually have a pretty good squad.
Man, I was a little disappointed at that. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Yo, again, this is the sports talk where we can say what we want to say. I'm sick of Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, just like I am the Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens and the Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Why? Because every year they are picked to win the division. They're picked to go to the Super Bowl. And I say this, and I'm going to say this proud. I think the Bills are going to get shut down next week.
Oh,
and McDermott's going to be on the hot seat.
Look, here's what I would say. Josh Allen, this is your year right here. You don't have any obstacles with Patrick Mahomes. You don't have any obstacles with Lamar Jackson. I do want to touch on this right quick before we move on. I want to touch on the simple fact that Caleb Williams. Chicago, you finally have a quarterback. Let me say that again. Chicago, you finally have a quarterback. And Chicago looks like they are forced to be reckoned with.
Hey, man, not quite the 85 Bears, but they look sharp. They look sharp on both sides of the ball. Man, I mean, and let's talk about leadership. Let's talk about a young Caleb Williams, two years in the league right now, and just gaining that leadership role by holding his players accountable. And you saw the video of them yelling at his players, yelling at his coaching staff. Like, what are we doing? This is the playoffs.
Well, he was getting up their ass because,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, they were down 18 points, 20+3, going into the half. And then he's like, look, and what I didn't like is that they called him out on the sense of him getting up, you know what I'm saying, his players. But at the same time, it worked. It's tough love. You have to do that. He's the leader. He's the quarterback. He's trying to sit up here and let them know, look, this is elimination. And he said that in his interview.
Yeah.
He said, look, we got to understand that not only or whatever we're playing for the city and the fans and so forth, but this is elimination week 2.
Back in the day, when a quarterback made a mistake and they're sitting on the sideline, I look at these quarterbacks today, they're just sitting there. They're looking at those playlists, going over them, analyzing them, what they could have done different, what they need to do better. Or nowadays, the iPads or the tablets. And I look over there, sometimes, man, these quarterbacks are just sitting there like twiddling their thumbs. When they come off the field, hadn't done anything, he was getting in their tails, man. And so That to me showed great leadership.
Well, speaking of people being on the sideline, could you explain to me what the hell AJ was doing when he was reading books on the sideline?
Bruh.
I mean, what was up with that?
Hopefully self-help, because that's what he gonna need right now.
Yeah. I mean, well,
You know,
I'm just saying, because I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, you in the middle of the game, you should be looking at your service tablet
Yeah.
or whatever that thing is called, to be looking at plays where you're supposed to get open so you can make plays so your team can win. That's probably why they lost.
that's probably that ain't no probably to it. Man, we got plenty more to talk about. Excited about this first episode. We want to thank you all for joining again. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button, follow us, join us, and we would love to have your feedback. And you know what, Marquis? I want to throw this out here because I have a right to say what I want to say. John Harbaugh, man, I think he's a good coach. He's legendary, future Hall of Fame coach. I think he's past his prime though, with Lamar Jackson as their quarterback, Derrick King Henry as their running back, and you telling me you couldn't win more games with that? It's the coaching staff. I hate to say it, it's not quite time for you to sit down completely, but man, I don't feel like John Harbaugh could bring anything else to the table. That's my opinion, folks. If you got something to say, please comment. If you agree with me, comment. Let me know. We need talking. We need substance.
Let me play a little devil's advocate about that, because I know you're saying that you feel like John Harbaugh is past his prime, but for me, I think he's probably one of the most disrespected coaches in the league.
Disrespected?
Because, I mean, Baltimore was in shambles a little bit. And then not to mention, you had a point where they didn't really know who their quarterback was going to be. Flacco was getting owed. They drafted Lamar Jackson. Nobody thought that was going to work. I mean, hell, they thought he was a receiver playing football or playing quarterback. Nobody gives respect on John Harbaugh about that. Why is that? You know, is it because he doesn't win flashy? He wins structurally?
What has he done since the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, what has Kyle Shanahan done since the Super Bowl?
Hey, man, if you asked me that question if you'd asked me that question last season, I would have had a mouthful to say. We would have ran out of film.
Here's something, of course, that people are not talking about, too. John Harbaugh isn't flashy, okay? He's not flashy. He's not viral. But when January hits, guess what? His team is always around. So my thing is, and I'll ask this question even to you, if your team was to fire the coach, would you be somebody to go after John Harbaugh? Comments. Put that in the comments. Because I'm going to tell you this. I'm a fan of my team, and you know damn sure what my answer is if they sat up here and fired Shane Steichen, if we would go after John Harbaugh, how I feel about that.